Howdy folks, Zach Smith, Pest Dude. Hey, I'm just commuting into work this morning to go head over to Smith's Pest Management, where we handle pest control around the San Francisco Bay Area. And I was thinking about something. What I'm trying to do in the Pest Dude channel is teach. This is also what I'm trying to do all day long in my local business. Teach pest control, because it's not about the chemicals. I really want to emphasize that it's not about the pesticide. That seems simple to say, it seems obvious to say, but truly when I look at the blogs that I'm trying to write, with the help of my team with Gabby and Yana and the folks that are helping me polish up the wording and put it into a nice package, because there's no way I've got time for that, is what am I trying to teach? I'm trying to teach thinking. We got to start with thinking, folks. One of the funnest ways I've ever heard a spin on IPM is intelligent pest management. So what is intelligence? Well, I'm not going to get too philosophical on that, but we can say for the sake of conversation, it's to be armed with knowledge and a useful kind of knowledge. The ability to really use the knowledge that we have to make decisions. So let me get down to basics here. You've got a bug in your house. Hey, the knowledge of how it got in is not, it's not nothing. The knowledge of how the bug got in is valuable knowledge. Now, if it's a fly and you left your doors open, okay, that's not rocket science. But if it's fleas and you don't have a pet, now we need to think about something, because just killing the fleas, there's no guarantee that the problem is solved. So how'd the pest get in? Did the pest come in on your fruits and vegetables from the grocery store? Did the pest come in the box of grain or stored, dry products? Okay, that's good to know. Because one of the things that bringing a pest into the house, does next is that pest may infiltrate other stuff. So fruit flies may come in on your fruit and then contaminate the other fruit. Or mold infested fruit may keep contaminating your new fruit. We talked about this in an earlier blog. I mean, once in a while, it's time to just take the fruit bowl, anything around that area, throw out the fruit and clean up. You don't need to use pesticide. You can just use regular old countertop cleaner and a rag or a sponge and wipe and clean. Now start fresh with fresh fruit. What we learn when we ask questions is how did people without refrigeration keep some of their vegetables and such around for such a long time? Well, I learned this from watching people who sail. Folks who travel the ocean. They take their fruit and vegetables and they wash them. They decontaminate them. So much of what spoils fruit is on the skin. It's the fungus on the skin, or maybe bacteria, that's naturally going to decompose the fruit. When we wash it, we reset the clock. That fruit will stay fresher longer. So I learned that from watching somebody travel across the ocean on a sailboat on YouTube. Wash all your produce real well. Then it doesn't need as much refrigeration. That clock has been reset. All those decomposing organisms on the skin got knocked way back, mostly eliminated. Time to start, from scratch. You bought a lot of time. We bring our pests in. How'd they get in? We brought them in, okay? Or they walked right in the open door. Or they walked right under the front or back door or the door to the garage. They walk right under the door. In a bug's life, if you're thinking bugs, your whole house is full of little openings like that, and your house smells like food, and it signals a warm, safe place, right? You keep your house to be a warm, safe place for you and your family and your pets. Well, the pests, the bugs, and the rodents, they like that too. Okay, this is there's no pesticide involved at blocking them from getting in. There's no magic. There's no product to search for. There's no best, what's the 10 best products to solve this conundrum. We seal up the door with what's called a door sweep. There's a threshold into every doorway where the door can seal against the floor with very low tech, long been invented technology, flexible rubber that blocks the bugs. It's very simple. Screens for windows, very simple. Now, I'm not here to pick on folks that don't have the means. That's not what I'm here to do. If you don't have the means, I respect that. If you can take care of screen doors, screen windows, and seal up your door sweeps, okay, please do that. This is a big step in the right direction. If you've got fleas, they may be coming from wildlife that frequents your yard, or they may be coming from your pets, or they may be coming in on squirrels or raccoons or rats that are in your crawl space and attic or walls, or even living with you. So that's why we start with, first things first. We got to get the big pests out. The easy, so to speak, easy pests. It's awfully hard to get rid of a persistent flea problem until we get rid of the host, or take care of the host if it's your pet, and get some professional flea treatment. Because what breaks my heart is when we try to help somebody get rid of their fleas, but there's a syncopated or mismatched order of operations. Say the pet gets treated, but the house doesn't get treated. So once the treatment for the pet wears off, the pet gets reinfested from its own living space. Okay, so if we can get rid of all the fleas and all the eggs and all the larvae and treat the pets at the same time, we have a better chance of resetting that clock. Not different than washing your fruit. Not different. Same. Get rid of all of the conditions at the same time and get a fresh start. That's not to say a flea will never find its way back in. It will just be one flea, maybe a few fleas, not 10,000 fleas. There's no winning. When you put fruit, fresh fruit, amongst a bunch of decomposing fruit in the fruit bowl, there's no winning. The spores on the other fruit will be on that new fruit immediately. There's no fresh start. You never stood a chance. Cockroaches, German cockroaches, the kind of little itty bitty cockroaches that just keep showing up. They're hitchhikers. They're riding in and out of our homes on clothing, backpacks, lunch boxes, cardboard. They are so small. They are so fertile. One pregnant female can be all you need to just destroy your serenity, your clean and tidy, serene environment. They are so fertile. In a laboratory, one female German cockroach will be able to turn that situation into 1 million cockroaches in 1 year in an ideal laboratory environment. That's insane, okay? You don't need 1 million cockroaches to have your serenity at home destroyed. You only need a few hundred, and that's easy. You don't need a perfect laboratory environment. Your home is good enough for one cockroach to turn into 100 to 1,000. You don't need to take it to 1 million for it to be a problem. You'll know. You'll hate it. People are going to say, what's the best pesticide to get rid of cockroaches? There's dozens. What's the best way to get rid of cockroaches? Intelligence. When we hear about government intelligence, it's not that the government is intelligent. It is the act of seeking information. Intelligence gathering. That's all pest control boils down to. Intelligence gathering. When I figure out what kind of cockroach I've got, or when I figure out what kind of bug is biting me, I have intelligence. Now that intelligence moves me forward. If I think about how it got in and I figure it out, I've got some profound intelligence. We then apply control measures. In the case of, say, German cockroaches, it's not your door sweeps, it's not your open windows. It's a human transmitted bug. It's coming in with packaging. It's coming in, one of the most common ways that German cockroaches reinfest homes is they're coming from somebody's place of work, or they're coming from a supplier. That supplier may not be some official supplier like Amazon, but it may be some local supplier where, you ask the question, what did I bring in? Cardboard. What did I bring in that had corrugated cardboard? What did I bring in that was a little bit rustic? Maybe had food, moisture, carbohydrate. Where did I bring something in? Am I using, perhaps an old, very sturdy cardboard, wax-covered cardboard fruit crate to move things to and from? Did somebody donate something to me in a wax-covered cardboard fruit crate? These things, like an apple crate that are cardboard, are amazingly strong and light, and people don't throw them away. people use them again and again to carry things like fruit. If you have a friend or some benefactor who brought you leftovers from the grocery store, maybe the food that was donated or was near its expiration date. If you had somebody bring home a bunch of windfall free food, free produce, these things might be the question. It may be just that one time. So just that one time, you imported gift, and that gift had cockroaches hidden in the corrugations of the cardboard, and they got out in your house, and they started to reproduce, okay? And so you'll know when you treat and get control, that control will last. But if that control does not last long, then you have new intelligence. You are bringing in the cockroaches repeatedly. Then you start to do that detective work. What kind of material is coming into my house every so often from some place that has cockroaches? These questions can answer a lot. I want to get some case studies going for the Pest Dude channel that talk about, this is Bill. This is Bill's story. Bill had cockroaches again and again. Bill found out after lots of intelligence gathering that there was also cockroaches where he worked. Bill put all of his daily backpack and lunchbox and whatnot in a communal spot, and that is where the cockroach transmission was taking place. Onto his backpack they climbed, and home with him they went. It's totally possible. These things happen. The most common pests that I hear about are the ones that are the hardest to break that cycle of reinfestation. Rodents, bed bugs, cockroaches, fleas. If you look at things like flies, it's not that easy. Flies are environmental, but things that are easier are things that are commensal, means same table. Rodents, cockroaches, bed bugs. They stay with people wherever people go. They're easier to get rid of if you can gather that intelligence, break that cycle of them getting in. Because one thing that worries me when I look at the comments is how much people resort to soaking, covering, spraying, totally over applying a pesticide to their living quarters. The one thing many people ask me is there something I can just bomb my whole house with? This idea that we will let some canister of pesticide go off when we're not there and reach the farthest reaches of that home. It's the way our minds work, folks. There will be a pesticide residue on every surface. That's a nuclear approach. I don't know how to solve this, so let's just blow it up. The thing is that you might get lucky, and that might be the end of your problem. But what if it's not? You're going to bomb it again and again? People do. Part of the mission here at Pest Dude is to reduce the amount of these chemicals that we are ingesting or absorbing. The number one way that pesticides get into our body is through our skin. Many pesticides are considered safe when applied correctly. The label will say that these things are approved for use around people when applied according to the label. I don't know about you, but I have a natural instinct to say, if a little is good, more is better. I might not follow the guidelines on only apply this every 30 days. I might think, what's the difference between 20 and 30? I might start to think, well, if I did it every 20 days, what's the difference between 10 and 20? Next thing you know, I might be applying this stuff every time I see or even think I see a sign of the bug. Time to apply it again. If a little is more, a lot is better. That's common way our minds work. That starts to lead to a lot more pesticide than anybody ever approved for human consumption, or human contact. Also, all pesticide data is acute exposure, not chronic exposure. Is what you find out when you see a lawsuit, like maybe the Roundup lawsuits, where it's been 30 years. It's been something like 3 or 4 decades of exposure that the chronic effects start to be understood. You look at medications and such that get black box warnings. They don't figure that out quickly usually. It's 20 years. Okay, so everybody's been using the product repeatedly for 20 years. Then they go, uh-oh, turns out that stuff was dangerous. Uh-oh, right? Too late. When something says that it's relatively safe for use around humans, that's acute toxicity. That's what you're gonna feel in the next, couple days, next couple hours, right? So safe is not a word that makes sense when we talk about applying pesticide. We take a reasonable risk. This is why I want the Pest Dude channel to be a place where we talk about intelligent pest management, gathering intelligence, asking questions. How did it get in? What is it? Am I being bit by bed bugs, bird mites, or fleas? It's going to tell you a lot. If it's bed bugs, you've got a likely contained problem. Bed bugs live within about 10 feet of where people sleep, and there's no reason for them to live further than that. That's pretty contained. If you don't have somebody bringing bed bugs in on the regular, or they're not walking through your neighbor's wall, you could get rid of them and expect them to stay gone. That's pretty cool. If it's bird mites or rat mites, you may be completely unaware that in your attic there's bird nests, rat nests, or your neighbor's chicken coop, or whatever outside of your contained area is a constant source of new bird mites or rat mites. Little invisible, they're like chiggers. They're just teeny mites. They bite and it itches, and it freaks everybody out. And your serenity is destroyed. Wake up every day with itchy bites. Your safe sleeping environment has been infiltrated, and every time you treat, they come back. That's the problem with having persistent source, right? We already talked about fleas. You can contain that, you can get control. Pesticide is the third thing. We've got to get rid of their food, and we got to get rid of their entry point or their hiding place. Then we start to use pesticide or traps or diatomaceous earth. There's many products that'll kill the culprit. What stops the culprit? That's pest control. If it was called pest killing, well, that's what we used to call it, exterminating. Yeah, but now we're talking about control. We can be control freaks with pests. That's a good thing to be. And it starts with intelligence gathering. I'm gonna wrap this up because I'm gonna end up reiterating everything I just said. I know me. Ask me questions in the comments or at thepestdude.com in the contact form. Ask me questions. I am going to try to work with everybody. I know this is not going to be easy to scale this model. I'm not going to be able to reach everybody. We may need to come up with some sort of collective forum where people can pool questions together. I'm up for it. My mission here is not to do something to make a bunch of money. I don't make money. I'm going to try to figure out how to get some sponsorships or affiliates. We make a small commission from things we recommend on Amazon. It's a percent. There's no get rich quick scheme going on here. This is me wanting to help people have serenity in a way that I can be useful. I look for ways I can be useful and to be of service to my family, my community, and my world. Well, what's right down the middle for me is to stop the misery of living in a pest-infested home. That's hellacious. I don't want anybody to live in a pest-infested home. My grand scheme retirement plan is that I cruise around and just help people for the rest of my life. Tell me the problem. Okay, cool. Let's find out how to stop it. Pests are a great place to start. Pests, once you get rid of the nightly terror of rats chewing on the wall by your head, which is a common complaint, I lay in bed at night and I can hear the rats just on the other side of the drywall gnawing all night long. That's what they do. I can smell the urine of the rats or the bats in my attic. It's coming through it's permeating the ceiling. That's a common call. I go to bed and I just fear that the bugs are coming for me as soon as the lights go out. That's a common call. My little baby is covered with red welts. I don't know what's causing it. I'm losing my frickin' mind. That's a common call. That's what I want to help with. I want to spread that as far as I can, help as many people, because when you know, you're going to help your neighbor, and your neighbor's going to know, and they're going to help their neighbor. We can all help each other get a peaceful night's sleep, to bring back the serenity, and to recognize the signs when somebody who doesn't know is going crazy, and you can go. I learned from the Pest Dude that you might have birds in your attic. And those bites are coming from bird mites, coming down from the attic into your living space. Let's go look in the attic. Let's go get those birds out. Let's go apply some pesticide in an exact way, right on the nose of the problem, rather than soak the whole house. All right, folks, if you're still watching, I really appreciate you. Spread this around. I ain't about video quality. I'm about the message. All right, have a good one.